Hello, everybody. It's CapCorgi. I wanted to talk about what is going on with Borderlands 4. I just posted a video yesterday about the issues of Borderlands 4, and, while it is doing well in terms of the gameplay and the narrative, and very great changes that have been done to the series in this fourth installment, we have a major problem, boys. We have a major problem. People can't play the game. They cannot actually play the game because anytime you try to play the game, it crashes or it runs at 20 FPS. It's completely unoptimized. It's an absolute mess. And let's see how the thingy is going right now. Borderlands 4, the rating. Let's see, has it gotten better or worse? Because they've had some patches. It's the exact same. Okay. So it's the exact same percentage, 66%. That means some people in the past 24 hours have voted positively and voted negatively for this game. Now, what we're going to talk about is the response after this initial pushback with, person after person being like, I love the game, it's really cool, but it doesn't work. Optimization issues, hardware 2 to 3 years old. We'll talk about that soon. And it just goes on and on and on. And I would say, at least for the recent reviews, I consider those very much more on the negative end than positive end. At least in the past, few hours. So what is updated now? Let's see. We've had a couple patches, but we've had Randy Pitchford, CEO of Gearbox, being the absolute worst enemy to his own game, and kind of just being a dick for the entire time against you, me, everyone on Twitter. He's gone into multiple tirades. He's basically started a spam tweet, and Randy Pitchford is acting like a bitchford. Let's talk about it. So, first of all, he started a thread yesterday. This was, not yesterday, sorry, a couple of days ago. And they talked about, this one wasn't too bad because he's, talking about, the struggles of making the engine and so on and so forth to optimize the game and, what you have to do. You have to, trying to make sure it works on 3 to 4 year old hardware. It doesn't even work on current hardware particularly well. It doesn't even work on console particularly well. And you can look at so many other people. I know Mudahar, some ordinary gamers, he was talking about he didn't even bother buying it on PC. He bought it on PS5. And it's not even working with split screen. It's, super lag, and on a PS5, the console, which is ostensibly what should be more optimized, because you're only when you're optimizing a game, it is somewhat relatively understandable for the optimization to be slightly worse. I don't agree, but a lot of people think this on PC, because you have to kind of optimize for many different configurations of CPU and GPU and RAM and all of that, because everyone's computer is kind of different. And whereas the PlayStation 5 is just the PlayStation 5, and now it's the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro. But those are the two configurations. That's it. And same with Xbox Series S and Series X. And that is why, console games nowadays are optimized first, and usually optimized better because it's simpler to do. Also, the amount of people that you'll be getting with all of those games are uniform in terms of their thought processes, but on PC, it's everything. So, if you're having problems with the optimization on PlayStation as well, that's a major red flag, Randy, but he doesn't see it that way. But yeah, so he talks about some ways that he thinks you can fix it, volumetric fog, and so on and so forth, and then DLSS, of course. He's talking about you basically don't need to worry about having DLSS, because if you have DLSS, you shouldn't have to worry about latency and input lag. Problem is, if you're playing even a single-player game with massive amounts of input lag, which is exacerbated by frame gen and DLSS, they're fake frames. So you think you're going to be doing something, and the frames will generate to show the graphic, but your character is not actually doing the thing. It's really annoying, especially with a fast-paced game. We actually saw this a lot with Monster Hunter Wilds. That used, everyone's like, oh, just use FrameGen, just use DLSS. You are working against, or you're playing as a character, essentially doing what amounts to Souls-like-ish combat over and over and over again. You're trying to dodge attacks. You're doing, you're using iframes with certain weapons, a lot of weapons. You're trying to block at the right time and then parry and this and that. You're trying to do all these things that are quite, I guess, game mechanic intensive and timing intensive. And so when you're dealing with fake frames caused by FrameGen and DLSS, you are absolutely screwing yourself over with the actual gameplay of the game. You're gonna be like, man, that shouldn't have hit me. That monster, that attack just didn't show as a hit registration on my screen, but, obviously it hit me. This is bullshit. And you're gonna feel like that anytime you use DLSS and FrameGen. So it doesn't matter whether you're playing online esports or not. Input latency is so negligible, he's fucking lying. So one thing I hate is when someone refuses to acknowledge the problems. Randy Pitchford could literally just shut the fuck up and be like, hey, we're working on it. We know there are issues. We appreciate everyone who bought the game, especially day one being what amounts to glorified beta testers. And we'll fix it. So just give it some time. If he said that, dude, the fucking Crapcom team that made Monster Hunter Wilds, I see this as a Monster Hunter fan, they've been running on the goodwill and the honeymoon phase of the Monster Hunter Wilds and Monster Hunter community for months. Literally running on 0 patch notes, 0 updates, 0 fixes, and being like, hey, we understand you're frustrated, we'll get to it, we're trying to do this, we're trying to make it work, blah, blah, blah. They basically have been giving us platitudes for months, and it's worked for them. Not completely, a lot of people are still very, very upset, for sure, but, the people that are fans of theirs are at least trying to defend them. Whereas even fans of Borderlands 4, and there are many, as there should be, apparently it's a great game, they're frustrated with Randy Pitchford. Not only are people like me, who hates when this happens in AAA gaming all the time anyways, not only are we pissed, but the people that are fans of this game, the people that are fans of playing this game, the people that put in hundreds of hours of this game, are also pissed because of Randy's entire attitude and his way of speaking, his absolute refusal to acknowledge the issues, and his focus on trying to blame every single person who plays this game, saying, hey, it's your problem, it's not our problem, it's your fault somehow, it's not our fault. Dude, holy fuck, man. Someone needs to take Randy's Twitter account away because he is making an absolute mess of things right now. And, on September 13th, this entire thread, which was multiple, statements long, ended in a beautiful little rant at the end. I know a lot of you are dead set on playing in 4K with ultra max settings using 2 to 3-year-old hardware. First of all, a couple of major issues with this, guys. First of all, 2 to 3-year-old hardware, that's a 40-fucking-90. That came out 2 years ago, Randy Pitchford. Are you fucking kidding me? If your game cannot be played at a decent level, and we're not talking about 4K Ultra Max, we're talking about at a decent level, 1080p without using FrameGen and DLSS is not too much to ask for. It's really fucking not. And expecting not having, massive frame drops in action scenes and so on. If you're having issues with that, that is a problem with your fucking game. That is a problem with your lack of optimization. That is a problem with you not making your game optimized for maybe a week, a month, whatever, giving the team time to do it. And instead, you let 2K, the publisher, push you around and the devs and release the game when it's not ready, and you know it. The only reason someone like this, by the way, is this defensive, anytime you see a game dev or, a publisher or whatever, be this defensive and this antagonistically defensive towards, community or something like that, is because they are projecting and they know we're right and they don't want to admit it. Randy Pitchford is a prime example, an absolute prime example of this absolute abject idiocy that plagues narcissists. So, anyways, going on, you do you, but BL4 and UE5 are doing a lot, and the trade-off for frames doesn't seem worth it. I play on 40 and 40p with settings super high, and I'm super happy with that trade-off. The game looks amazing at 1440p. By the way, it's a cartoon fucking game. Like, I mean, it's not bad. Like, it's nice cell shading, but it is literally like cell shaded cartoon style or art style. You're not talking about Senua's Saga, which is like ultra realistic. You're not talking about a game like, let's say, Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 went for like, the super realistic, like, cutting-edge style graphics, and that suffered from some graphical issues and stuff. But when a game is trying to go for like something super detailed or super new, Ready or Not is a prime example of an FPS game using UE5, and it's using the fisheye lens, it's going for like that real like body cam style footage and everything like that. When you're doing something like that, cutting-edge graphics-wise, and you have frame drops, us gamers, we look at that and we're like, you guys are trying something hardcore here. We get it. It's fine. Sure, we would love some more optimization and you guys work on it, but we're not going to make a big shit about it because we know this is pushing the engine. Borderlands 4 is not pushing shit, guys. Borderlands 4, let's just let Borderlands 4 play in the background while we talk about this. Borderlands 4 gameplay. Let's just do some little gameplay. Okay, no commentary. There we go. There we go. Because I want to show you what the graphics for this game are, and it's good. It's not bad graphics, but it's also not like, the most stunning, riveting thing ever. It's cel shaded, like it's fine. And it's like, it's nice, it's pretty cool. But it's like very cartoony, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the art style. But there's a reason that you focus on the gameplay for games like these and not the graphics. I'm not expecting photorealistic, I'm not expecting the shadows to glow off the screen and give me a prime example, Cyberpunk 2077. That pushed the engine. That was like, ray tracing to a T and stuff. And that still had major issues to the point that it was unplayable and had to be fixed for weeks and weeks and weeks and months. And finally it did, especially when Phantom Liberty came out. That's kind of when a lot of the issues were ironed out, both in terms of gameplay and in terms of, the performance of the game. But still, it was somewhat understandable because of what the game of, in this case, Cyberpunk 2077 was doing. It was really trying to push the genre forward. It's trying to create some beautiful new vistas and looking down at the city. I mean, it was breathtaking. Whereas this game, it's just a fucking looter shooter, dude. No one gives a fuck if we have like 15 million polygons on the water. No one gives a flying fuck. We want to be able to play the game. We want to be able to do split screen. We want it to be able to look decent, but it doesn't need to be like, the most riveting, graphic engine ever. It's fucking like just a chill, fun game. You don't have to make it, so focused on shadows and volumetric fog and this and that we are going down to 20 FPS a lot of times, which is insane. Those are frame drop levels that are borderline unplayable. Even 30 FPS, in my opinion, is fucking unplayable. I don't know how console bros do it. Like, I don't, if you're a fucking PS5 dude or a Nintendo Switch dude and Xbox dude, and you're playing at 30 frames per second on the regular, I genuinely don't see how. Like, I having been a PC player for a very long time, and I'm used to 60 FPS at the very least, usually even more. 120. I can tell the difference between 120 FPS and 60 FPS. But that's negligible. If it's somewhere in there, even if it's just at 60, even if it's just at 50 or whatever, like, that's great. That's fine. I can do that. But 30 FPS, holy fuck, man. I genuinely, my eyes bleed. So there's no way. Anyways, but yeah, so if you got a decent video card, you're probably fine at 4K. I don't think anyone that I know of even with 5090s, even with 15th gen Intel CPUs, everything, you know, the full NASA style supercomputer, the big streamers that are using 2 computer setups, one to, like, you know, have the streaming software on one computer to take off the load, and then, like, the game running on the other one. Not even those people are able to really play at 4K, especially without DLSS. There's no shot. And that's not to mention, what are the issues with DLSS, guys? DLSS, I talked about the fake frames and all that, but also when you're using DLSS and frame gen, it's not like the type that was used for back in Cyberpunk when you're using ray tracing. It is now pathing. It is now array pathing. And as a result, the FPS, if you're not already getting good FPS without DLSS and frame gen, trying to use DLSS and frame gen will cause a lot of issues. It will not give you the right look. It will not give you the right feel of the game as it should. And it's because, you know, when you're generating, 3 frames out of 1, even with the NVIDIA AI and everything like that, first of all, it's not made to be relied on. It's a band-aid solution. And then secondly, it's also kind of distorting the picture. And you've seen this with the ghosting. You've seen this with the artifacting in other games. When you're forced to use DLSS. You've seen this... Oh my god, I mean, fuck, look at Monster Hunter Wilds. Watch any gameplay of Monster Hunter Wilds and with DLSS and frame gen on, including my own. I have plenty on this channel. And you will see a massive amount of these exact issues that I'm talking about. And it is because you're not supposed to need to use frame gen and DLSS when you already have low frames. It's not meant to fix low frames. It's meant to make, you know, mid to decent range frames a little bit better. That's what it's supposed to do. Obviously, that's not how game companies do it. That's not how Randy Pitchford is talking about it. That's not how any of these companies are using it nowadays. They're basically using it as a catch-all because they don't want to optimize their fucking game. Anyways, going back to his tweet, if you're in the middle or close to min spec, I would definitely recommend making that trade. Okay, but I love, one thing I love, dude, people shit on Twitter, and I get it, like, there's a lot of weird people on Twitter, but this is one of the best things about Twitter. The context, the community notes. And right here, it's like, bam, recommended spec for Borderlands 4 is a 3080 and a 12,000 level GPU, which is 5 years old and 3 years old. Most gamers expect the game to run at optimal performance when using recommended hardware. That's what it means. They're not saying minimum spec here. They're saying recommended. So if you have a 3080, 4060, 4070, 4080, you know, any of those, you should be able to run at a decent frame rate of about 60 using, you know, high to almost close to ultra level specs. You know, maybe not 4K. 4K is fine. Like, 4K is crazy, that shit. You know, I don't expect to run 4K on anything. But I have a 4070. But, you know, that's the thing. 4K is like, you know, 4 times the amount of pixels as a 1080p. So it's like way more. It's way, way, way more. So it's not even a question that it's going to be super hard to run 4K. That's fine. But we're talking about just making it playable at 1080p or 1440p. That's it. But this game can't even do that. But here it gets even better. So when dealing with the community and being like, hey, how about you make your game look good without relying on AI upscaling, which is a very common thought process, one that I've championed on this channel many, many times. You know, Randy Pitchford absolutely goes ham here. Touched a nerve, Randy. Code your own engine and show us how it's done, please. I wish I could, you know, do a community note because this game is made in Unreal 5. Borderlands 4 doesn't use its own proprietary engine. It uses Unreal fucking 5. Randy, are you serious? Jesus fucking Christ. And Randy's acting like he's some master coder. Randy coded his last game in 1999. I know because I had a friend look it up. So, you know, it is absolutely insane that he's trying to act like he's some master coder. Bitch, you don't even code. Shut the fuck up, Randy, and suck my fucking dick. Fix your fucking game and stop making excuses. Now, I would not even react like this if he came out and was like, hey, we're trying to fix it. our bad. You know, we appreciate you trying to buy the game. We appreciate you all playing the game, and leave it at that. You can look at my 500 videos on this channel. You can look at my 6 years of streaming. I have never ranted about some game company that actually takes, you know, ownership of their issues and is like, hey, this is a problem, we're fixing it. I'll make a video talking about it. Hey, this is a problem, they're fixing it, you know, let's give them a shot. That's it. I've never reacted negatively. But this type of attitude, this type of antagonistic shit, man, I've seen this shit way too much, man. Way too much. I am in my mid-30s. I'm an older fella in the gaming world. I don't have patience for this kind of shit. He's acting like we're getting this game for free. Bitch, this is a $70 game. This is a full fucking price game. And if you buy it with deluxe edition, it's $80 to $90. This is not a free game. If you go to a burger place, you go to, you know, any kind of food, let's just use a burger, and you go there and you pay, you know, a gourmet burger place or whatever, it's like $12, $15 for a burger, maybe even 20 in this economy, and you get the burger and it's half cooked. You know, you ask for medium and it's like, you know, rare, and it's like fucking raw. It's fucking raw. You have the chef in the background. Yeah, it's fucking raw. You know, the cheese is like not even the right cheese, and you know, this, that, whatever. There's issues with the meal. You don't eat the fucking burger. You send it back and be like, hey, I'm paying for this meal nicely and respectfully, and be like, hey, can you fix this? If the waiter turned around and was like, oh, our meal's not good enough for you, bro, everyone would pop off. Randy Pitchford would pop off, and he fucking knows it. This is not a free fuck here. We're not getting this as a favor from you, Randy. We paid for a fucking product, and we expect the fucking product to be fucking playable. It's really not that complicated. Now, this is why I was talking about, you know, the advent of how good, you know, indie game makers are at pricing value for money. And so they kind of lower their own expectations a little bit when they try to sell a product, a game, for under market price. If you're playing Space Marine 2, my game of the year last year, absolutely amazing game. One of my favorite games of all time, actually. I would just put it in my like top 50. It's an absolutely perfect game. Space Marine 2. This game came out at $60. It is still $60. So it came out at a time where the normal base price for games was $70. So you are paying for a game that is lower than the base price. And as a result of it being lower than the base price, this game doesn't have everything. It's not supposed to. It is a linear game that gives you really good action sequences. It does its thing well. It tells you exactly what it's going to do. It makes fun factor the main point of the game, and then it just goes off on it. It just does it really, really well. And as a result of that, anyone who bought this game knew exactly what they were getting, and it was optimized well. You could play it at a very high level. I played it at you know, high to ultra settings on a 4070, and it was gorgeous. It was amazing. It was fun, and it was smooth gameplay. For an action game, that's pretty key. And as a result of that, let's look at the reviews. Ooh, I wonder what the reviews are, guys. Let's look at the total reviews. 85% on Steam. That's very positive. Why is that? It's because they knew exactly what they were doing, and they gave us exactly what we wanted. And they sold it for lower than the top end price, $60 instead of $70. As a result of that, you don't have to give us the world. Just give us exactly what you're talking about. But if we're paying a premium price tag, I expect a premium fucking product. I think GTA 6 might run into this issue as well. I think they're going to do a good job because, you know, they generally do a good job with their other games, Red Dead 1 and 2, and then, you know, GTA 5 is still played to this day, even though they re-released it like fucking 10 times, and so on and so forth. But as a result of those games, like, they have a very high level of quality. There's, you know, rumors that the game might even be $100 when it comes out, GTA 6. Everyone's still going to buy it. But the thing is, if the game is not fucking perfect when it comes out for $100, people are going to lose their minds, and rightfully so. Way above normal base price. And, you know, normal base price now is $70 to sometimes $80 for premium, right? If GTA 6 comes out and it's $100 and it is perfect, no one will bat an eye. If it's fully optimized, you know, they put the fucking spit and vinegar in it, man. They put that elbow grease in it, man. They were working on it for years and years and years, and they were able to get it like fucking beautiful and perfect. No one will care that it's $100 because it is that kind of premium, like, you know, event of the year, of the decade, GTA 6. But if it sucks, if it has the issues that, you know, Borderlands 4 does, even though it's a great story and the gameplay is fun and everything, but it runs like dog shit, people are going to lose their fucking minds because you're paying way above the premium price. It's insane. You got to give the quality that you're expecting the price of. It's really not that hard. I work in business. That is my day job. It's not really that hard to understand this concept. The customer is always right. Not in Randy's case. For some reason, he's never learned that lesson as a CEO of a giant company of Gearbox, that the customer is always right. And if you're trying to blame the customer, I mean, Jesus, holy shit. So anyways, let's go back to his statement. Code Your Own Engine shows how it's done, please. We will be your customer when you pull it off. The people doing it now are clearly dumb and don't know what they're doing, and all the support and recommendations and code and architecture from the world's greatest hardware companies and tech companies working with the world's greatest real-time graphics engine coders don't know what you seem to know, /sarcasm. Just, I mean, this is beautiful. Touched a nerve there? Because he obviously did. Like, I mean, I'm probably gonna make that entire like tirade of you know, we're paying for a product, Randy, and I'm probably just gonna post it here as a short. He might block me, but I don't give a fuck. But yeah, it's just an absolutely insane level of attitude that he has for a game that is not working correctly. Okay, so then he goes on. So this is the second major statement here. He goes on with his big statement on the 14th. We're gonna go through them all. This is about, this is a completely skewed statement, man. There's I think it was a president, of some kind, and, I forgot who it was, but it was a quote, it was, there are lies, there are damn lies, and then there's statistics. And this is the last one. This is statistics. So he's saying, fun facts, customer service reports. So these are CS reports for Borderlands 4 are at roughly 1% of or so of installs. Doesn't give the context that very few people in 2025 give customer service reports. Very few people go on a website and put in a ticket. Even if you're having a major issue, you're more likely to just get rid of the game. You're more likely to just suck it up. You're more likely to wait for a patch. That is why it's only 1%. Actually, 1% is pretty high because of the level of frustration in this game. Most people try to find Reddit threads. Most people try to upload their or fix their drivers or, you know, whatever, and then try to fix it. No one goes to the website to do service reports, Randy. No one. This is why the number is so low. This is what we call in the business as skewed data, a nonsensical correlation. That's an epidemiology term. So like, you know, epidemiology term, nonsensical correlation, what does that mean? So that means like, someone is, actually, first day I was in my epidemiology 1 class, very first day of grad school. We go in and there is a whole bunch of data on the screen. There's ages, there's, diabetes, BMI, you know, all these like, you know, basic info for hundreds of people. And it's like, you know, scrolling. It's like just a picture that's scrolling constantly, going through the entire numbers. And the teacher gave us, you know, an exercise saying, hey, figure out what is the cause of death here. And we're all like coming up with things. Is it smoking? Is it this? Is it that? But, you know, it shows the smoking rates, and not everyone was a smoker, so on and so forth. And everyone's coming up with all kinds of different answers. You know, some people are saying, you know, people that live in, you know, high pollution countries, or, you know, things like that, like all kinds of different things, and some pretty good guesses. What was the answer? It was the Titanic. Everything that we thought of was a correlation was a nonsense correlation to the actual cause of death, which was being on the Titanic. And so this is a very common thing. If you take a statistic and you correlate it with something that doesn't make any remote level of sense because you're not using the correct context, you are in essence making a nonsense correlation, which is what Randy is doing to a T here. And this is what a lot of statistics do. Like, this is why, like, every couple of years you're reading one of the health magazines or newspapers or whatever, or an article, and, depending on the year, it'll say milk is good for you or milk is bad for you. It's because they're all looking at the statistics, and they're kind of just making their own conjecture off of statistics. And instead of looking at the actual facts, like what is good about it, what is bad about it, and look at the context. My dad is diabetic. Should he drink a lot of milk because it has sugar in it? No. Does that mean milk is bad for you? No. It just means milk is not really the best thing for him in very high amounts because it has a lot of sugar. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And, milk is great. I drink milk all the time. But, I'm not the same body as my dad. So as a result of that is why you have to be very careful with statistics. And, of course, Randy, a lot of people use statistics for their own designs, and this is exactly what it is. So he goes on, he talks about the tickets, he talks about shift accounts, he talks about, like, how many are these other issues, blah, blah, blah. But this is all a smokescreen, because here's the conclusion here. Here's the most important truth. We exist to entertain you. I wish he would remember this, because his tweets are not very entertaining. They're just pissing everyone off. I want every customer to have the best possible experience, while he makes excuses over and over and over again. We're not stopping working day and night, not just to add more awesome stuff to the game. The critics and fans seem to be nearly unanimous agreement that have made Borderlands 4 the best game of the series, but also to continue to improve the technical aspects. He could have left it with this paragraph, and everyone would have cheered. I would have cheered. Everyone would have. I'm not a Randy Pitchford hater until, this debacle, really. I don't really care about him. I don't really think about him. But I really hate bad attitudes. And before, if it was just this, we would have been totally fine. But acting like it's CS and like customer service reports as some kind of indicator in any way, shape, or form is a smokescreen, and we all know it. You go to the comments here, and everyone is talking about it. If I'm getting terrible FPS, I'm not going to send in a fucking ticket. Game would have had a positive rating on Steam right now if performance was better, but it's not. Almost all negative reviews mention low FPS and stuttering for this reason. Exactly. The evidence is if you use the tools available, you can get improvements to your FPS. It's insane. It is taking every ounce of willpower not to respond to every tweet that Randy makes, because every tweet that Randy makes is the stupidest fucking dog shit ever made. It's absolutely insane. And, I had to talk about it as well here. I talked about what the actual issues are and so on. Because all he's doing is hand-waving and minimizing the actual problems. When you obfuscate things, you're acting like, hey, it's not my fault. If you act like it's not my fault, if you try to, like, give that impression, oh, it's not my fault, it's this fault, it's your fault, you're playing on a not a good rig and this and that, that means that you're putting blame on the consumer. And the blame is not on the consumer in this case in any way, shape, or form. If your game is coming out and it is not playable on PlayStation 5, it is not playable on, low-end graphics cards, it's not playable on high-end graphics cards, it's not playable on AMD, it's not playable on NVIDIA, it's not playable on 5090s. Who's at fault here? It's because the game is not optimized. That's the reason. If it's not optimized on all rigs, it's not the rig's fault. It's like that meme, the no, all of you are wronged meme, where it's like the guy, like, all the swords. Yeah, exactly. This one doesn't have the swords, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of these types. There's this one. Randy is this guy. Randy is this guy. Everyone is looking at him, and he's, like, basically making fucking excuse after excuse, and he's the one at fault here. If he said nothing, he would be better off. We all would be better off. So anyways, he continues here with an entire... This one is the best one, because it is on the 14th of September, a couple of days ago, at night, 11 p.m., he's looking at all these comments, and he's getting more and more pissed. He's projecting more and more and more, and he's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And, just like a certain president of ours, he goes on an absolute Twitter rampage of, what is it? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. A 20 tweet thread, not including comments. Oh my god. He went off, bro. He went off. And he gave us many gems. So let's look at some of the gems. So every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what software they are running is doing. The main, and this is a great community note, the main contention PC gamers have is that the game is poorly optimized. It's really that fucking simple. And like, they use correctly Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry is a very quite unbiased source. They try to just do one thing and one thing well, and it's basically like, is this game well optimized? Can it run on what rigs, and how well does it run? What FPS can you expect to get? And basically, he's going to answer the question, will the PC that you have, or the system that you have, run the game at a level that you want? And it just gives you that answer. And talks about the issues, and that's it. So when Digital Foundry says your game is unoptimized, and they use crazy amounts of data. Like, they use a lot of data, way more data than 99.999% of YouTubers use. And so they're a pretty trusted source. When they say your game is poorly optimized, it's poorly optimized. But let's look at the wall. I'm going to go to YouTube, and this is the wall. For anyone who's new to the channel, this is what I call the wall. You go to a thing, and we have one right there. Borderlands. I can't spell. Borderlands 4 optimized. So you're putting in the subject. The wall is how many people on YouTube is talking about this. And this is a very large wall already. Unacceptable. It sucks. Just buy a new PC. Dev response, PC performance analysis, the games it doesn't want you to know, biggest crash out I've ever seen. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. And then, it jumps off because YouTube algorithm, it shows you other things. But, it still goes on, actually. This isn't helping. It just goes on and on and on. This is the wall. This is how many people are talking about the dog shit optimization of this game. The massive graphical issues with this game. And it is really just sad to see. Because we want to be talking about the game being fun. The game being playable. The game, the narrative being better. We want to talk about all these fun things instead of this shit. So when Digital Foundry already says your game is unoptimized, it's an issue. When everyone says the game is unoptimized, all of a sudden you don't want to be that guy in the middle where everyone's pointing at you or saying, no, you're all wrong. That is just, it's nonsensical, man. It's nonsensical. And it goes on, possessing the latest hardware does mitigate the poor performance, but it doesn't erase the fact that it's poorly optimized, which is absolutely true. And people with 4090s, 5090s are still having an absolutely crazy amount of issues with it. Borderlands 4, every PC gamer has a lot of tools to balance their preferences, blah, blah, blah. We appreciate an incredibly high degree of passion. He could have left it there. It would have been fine, but he didn't. Here we go. Let's see. There's a couple of special ones where he basically talks about... Yeah, here we go. There are a few very real issues. There are a few. But if they're affecting a very, very small percentage of users. It has a 66% rating on Steam, and even those have a lot of positive ratings. You can read them. Go and read the Steam reviews. Even the people giving it a thumbs up and a plus review are saying that, yeah, the game crashes for me. Or, yeah, I'm having FPS drops. It's not enough for me to change my review, but I'm still having those issues. It's really that bad. So it's way more than just 34% of people having the issues. It's not just negative reviews having the issues. It's also a lot of the positive people as well, but it's not enough to ruin the experience for them, which is why they give a thumbs up. So that kind of creates the other kind of skew. But I love how he just tries to act like, please accept the game is doing a lot and running pretty optimally. Like, if you're hitting 20 FPS all the time, it's not optimized, bro. It is not optimized. And then he goes on, use DLSS. It's great. The game was built to take advantage. No game is built to take advantage of DLSS. Every game is built using DLSS as a crutch nowadays. And that's kind of what he's saying, but he doesn't want to say it. And then he goes back to the competitive FPS, saying that, you know, you don't need to worry about latency and input lag. Yeah, I've always been led to believe that in a blind test, humans cannot detect any input lag. I believe this is true. He's postulating like he's some kind of fucking scientist here. Bitch, your game is just not working, man. Stop trying to create smoke screens around the fact that your game is not fucking working, bro. It's so fucking stupid. And then he goes on to some comments over here. Minimum Respect absolutely plays at 30 FPS. He hasn't played at minimum spec, so it's not even remotely close. Recommended spec plays at 60 FPS. Is there a community note on this? No, there should be, because there's a lot of people. We'll look at some examples of people playing the game. High level, low level, you know, mid-range PCs, everything. And they're showing their FPSs and stuff. And it is massive drops, bro. It is massive, massive drops. And again, yeah, bro, I got a 5080. What do you mean, Randy? Do I need a Workstation 10,000 GPU? Or do I need to make a time machine and get a 7090, Randy? What the fuck is wrong with you, Randy? He doesn't say that part, but I'm saying that part. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. And he just goes on and on and on. Here we go. Yes, you are all wrong. Oh, this is just glorious, man. This is just glorious. Nick Tech has been doing a lot of comments on Randy's posts, and it's been very amusing. I'm going to save that one for posterity's sake. But yeah, not only that, this did have a community note. Every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between the hardware and the software that the running is doing. The publisher of the game is actually responsible for providing an accurate, recommended minimum and specs, since the consumers absolutely have no way to check how the game's going to run before the game fucking releases. What I want to see is the refund rate of this game, because I bet you the refund rate of this game is actually probably shockingly high. But he hasn't doubled down, he's triple down, he's quadruple down, he's pentuple down. But this is the culmination here, and this is, I think, in the first thread, but I didn't read it particularly well. So the minimum and recommended specs are published. Most common hardware, the most common hardware is a 4-year-old cell phone. He's trying to imply that people who are playing the game and complaining is because they're trying to play it on their fucking TI-83. They're trying to play it on their Samsung Galaxy S23, man. Like, dude, are you fucking kidding me right now? This is gaslighting to an insane degree, bro. This is absolutely gaslighting to an insane degree. I've never seen this from a game CEO, man. I've never seen this from a game CEO. Like, this is insane. 20 tweet threads, like, it's going crazy here, man. He is popping off. Just as Borderlands 4 cannot run on a PlayStation 4, it cannot be expected to run on too old PC hardware. It's not running on any PC, really. Borderlands 4 is a premium game made for premium gamers. This is going back to his attitude. He has this very snobby elitist attitude with, like, completely not understanding what like context of money is, first of all. And second of all, he's not even right. But so first of all, this goes back to all the way when the game was scheduled to be $80. And he made the entire comment. I made a video about this. I'll link it in the discussion below. About how, let's see, Borderlands 4. There we go. So this is all the way back in June, this video, where he tried to state that, you know, Borderlands 4 is a premium game, and if you are a person who wants to buy a game, even if it's way overpriced, if you're a true fan, you'll pay for the game. That was his original tweet that pissed everyone off that time. So he has a history of doing this. This gaslighting dogshit mentality that he's had from the very, very beginning. And he's never stopped it. But it very much continues here. It's one of those highbrow elitist attitudes that you expect from some, like, hoity-toity fucking country club. Like, you know, with fucking, like, people going to, like, you know, play $1,000 whole golf. Like, it's insane. This is the kind of person Randy is. And this is definitely what he's showing. Because if someone's showing this when they're, you know, popping off, when they're pissed off on Twitter, this is generally how they are in real life, in my opinion. Maybe that's not always the case, but I generally feel it is. But yeah, going back. Unlike on PlayStation Xbox, we cannot prevent a PC player with suboptimal hardware, like a 4090, for the game, try to play it. So some try and get mad. Again, blaming the consumer is great. It's a very, very smart thing to do. Beautiful business sense here, Randy. Beautiful business sense. Absolutely, like, you know, the legendary businessman of our time here. Some have actual issues we need to fix. Some need to learn how their PCs work at high end for this specific game and use the tools available to them to find the right balance between frame rate, resolution, and graphics features. This is not a game made to run on 10-year-old PCs. It uses full capabilities of modern bus CPU and GPU. If you're trying to drive a monster truck with a leaf blower's motor, you're going to be disappointed. And if you're trying to play Borderlands 4 with any normal PC, that's even with 5090 you'll have issues. But even if you don't have a 5090, you're super going to have fucking issues. You have a 4090, good fucking luck. 4070, Jesus Christ, are you crazy? 4080, if you're broke, boy, just say so. Like, that's basically what Randy's saying here. If you discover your system can't run the game, this takes the cake. If you discover your system can't run the game well by accident or wishful thinking, and or don't want to try to mess with settings to make things good enough for you, please use the refund feature on Steam rather than have a subpar experience. He's basically saying, if you're so incorrect, just give back the game. Just refund the game. Basically, it's that same issue with, like, you know, people who are idiots on, you know, when they make, like, some game full of, like, some, like, idiotic mentality or whatever. Like, we've had so many of these, Dragon Age, the Veil Guard, blah, blah. You know, we've had this with shows, you know, and they say, oh, this wasn't made for you. If this wasn't made for you, it's a fucking public product. Who the fuck was it made for? We're just normal fucking gamers, Randy. We're people who've been playing Borderlands since Borderlands 1. Suck our fucking dick, Randy. We're not trying to, like, you know, get your respect here. We're trying to play a fucking video game. So if you're expecting us to feel bad about refunding the game, we won't. We're just going to refund the fucking game. That's all I want to see, the refund rates. Because I feel like this attitude only exacerbates the amount that you're going to see refund rates go up and everything. Like, I genuinely think so. I genuinely think so. But yeah, going back, we do have some footage here. And this is on PlayStation 5 in performance mode. You know, this is some person who did it.
Not necessarily in the numbers that
Sorry.
I presented.
I'm gonna link this in the description below. So in description below, so you can see it. But it regularly drops down in action scenes down to 45 FPS, and sometimes dips below that, almost close to 30 FPS on a PlayStation 5. That is console, guys. That is console. That is where it's supposed to be absolutely fucking tight 60 FPS at all times. This is definitely not tight at 60 FPS at all times. When there's nothing going on the screen, sure, it's 60. But if you have multiple enemies on the screen and stuff, holy shit, it drops down to the 40s. On PlayStation. On the thing that it's supposed to be optimized on. You go over here. Endgame Harlow is virtually unplayable right now on Xbox. So this is some guy playing on Xbox. Sorry, I'll mute it. And so let's see how bad it gets. Okay, so he's just shooting some guys, and ooh, look at those FPS. Oh my god, Jesus, we are running at like a solid 10 FPS, man. A solid 10. Oh my god, now it's down to like 5 probably, right? There's no FPS meter or on the screen or anything, but this is bad. Ooh. Oh my god, this is like some of the worst I've seen, bro. Holy. It's absolutely insane. Premium game for premium gamers, bro. Frames per second, dude. That's seconds per frame. It's frame gen, and people are just memeing the fuck out of it because everyone is pissed at Randy's attitude. And then you have a whole bunch of people responding to this entire set of tirades by Randy, responding very, very smartly. I bet Borderlands 4 sales would double if the slime ball just kept his mouth shut. And this is a great tweet by Legacy Killer HD. He's looking at something that I didn't look at. There's 70 Borderlands 4 reviews right now, and I think he's talking about Metacritic reviews, professional reviews, right? Critic reviews. 69 are on PC. Something is suspicious here. Console performance, like the below clip, the one we just saw, is horrendous and unacceptable. So did reviewers get console codes, or did Gearbox just try hiding all of this? I'd love to see Randy Pitchford defend this. He did, by the way. Randy Pitchford tries to defend everything. And no, I'm not being sarcastic. This is the Borderlands 4 Metacritic review page. And as you can see, you look at the PS5, TBD, 1 critic review, Xbox, TBD, 1 critic review, PC, 69 critic reviews. It's a little weird. Is this a sign of some hanky-panky? I don't think so. But, like, is this weird? Yeah, it's fucking weird. It is absolutely fucking weird. But yeah, then people go on. Synth Potato, by the way, we talked about Synth Potato quite recently. Basically, how he's way too nice about a lot of issues. Usually, when someone like me has an issue with a game, he's someone to kind of hand wave it away and be very positive and stuff. Nothing wrong with that. That's just his vibe, and he's super positive about things. I don't agree with him a lot, but, as a result of that. But, like, I respect it, and I understand it. A lot of people are just very positive, and they try to, put a positive spin. I call it toxic positivity sometimes, but I don't think he errs on that end too much. But anyways, usually doesn't talk about the negatives. But even this guy has to talk about the negative, man. Even Synth Potato, who is almost never, ever negative. He's like super, ultra, annoyingly positive. Randy Pitchford is generally the worst thing to happen to Borderlands 4 reputation. There would be 90% less outrage if he simply stopped tweeting and not actively tried to blame people for their cel-shaded game. Like I said, fucking cartoon dog shit. Game running worse than Cyberpunk 2077 with path tracing turned on. That was the path tracing I was talking about. Basically ray tracing on crack. Jez Corden, a Windows Central, he talks about it as well, the entire thing. And is this something else? No, this is just one of his comments. And yeah, it just goes on and on and on, man. I really hate to see it. I just want to talk about how good the game is. I want to play the game at some point. But thankfully, I wasn't stupid enough to get the fucking game on day one. I feel really bad for you, by the way, guys. I'm not blaming you guys. I feel like if you bought this game on day one, you're a Borderlands 4 super fan or whatever. I only feel bad for you, man. I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you when I talked about Borderlands 4. And in this video, I'm like, guys, don't trust it day one. And, the thing is that, people are going to buy what they want to buy, which is totally, totally fair. But this is the problem. Game companies think they can get away with it. And the problem is, they think they can get away with it because they do get away with it. We've had so many unoptimized games get hand-waved. You go back to my videos on, Monster Hunter Wilds, which right now is under a lot of heat, right? Monster Hunter Wilds being completely fucking dog shit. You go to the comment section. Let's go to the comments. And let's do all. And you'll find out some comments that agree with me, right? But you'll find a lot of comments by Capcom superfans, dick-sucking Capcom, and it has been almost a fucking year since the game has been out. It's close to, like, maybe 8 months or so since the game has been out, and the game is still borderline unplayable for so many people. You'll have people in this thread bending over backwards to defend the game. Super fans will defend these types of things all the time. But even with Borderlands 4, the super fans are kind of very conspicuously silent. you know, people that are very positive about these things are also calling this shit out. I think we're getting to a point in AAA gaming where people have had enough. We want more games like Expedition 33, under MSRP, runs like a fucking dream, is probably going to be a shoo-in for Game of the Year. We have games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, giving a true open world experience, you know, doing the immersive sim feel way better than Bethesda ever did, even though I love Bethesda games, and Oblivion is one of my favorite games of all time. It's way above and beyond Bethesda. And, you know, extremely immersive, very, very detailed using the CryEngine instead of Unreal Engine 5. But you know, all the same. And it runs super high settings. I think I had it on, you know, I think 3 settings were on high and the rest were on ultra. And I was running at 1440p, which is rare. Usually I just run at 1080p. I was just pushing my rig. I was like, let's see if this works. And it did. You know why? Because they spent time optimizing the game. They literally talked about it. They said we could have released this game months ago before it came out, but we decided not to because we wanted to make sure we made it the best possible gaming experience for you. For me, that deserves some serious accolades. Like I said, Space Marine 2, prime example, Black Myth Wukong. The numbers and the names of games that are optimized go on and on and on. And you'll find more often than not, they're not AAA experiences. They're indie games or they're AA games. And that's it. And not made or published by a AAA game company. You know, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is made by Warhorse Studios. They're not owned by you know, any of the major AAA game companies. They have a huge stake in them by Tencent, but Tencent is one of those companies where if they have a stake in fucking every game company for one thing, but if they have a stake in your company and they know you make good games already, they're not going to fuck with they're not going to fuck with a formula that they know is working already well. It's just one of those crazy things because, like I said, this is the best Borderlands games in years. Best Borderlands game in years. This is, you know, tons of games are criticizing the massive performance issues, of which there are, and we're working on it is all that Randy Pitchford needed to say, but he can't say that. Instead, what we get is premium game for premium gamers. We get code your own engine. We get better hardware. Randy Pitchford, you are your own worst enemy, and it is fucking pathetic. Going on a 20-tweet thread, schizo posting on Twitter like you're an absolute insane head case doesn't help things. It makes you look like a fucking moron. It makes you look like you're out of touch. It makes you look like you don't care about the actual gamers that decided to buy your fucking game for the full price tag of $70. I didn't because I know better. But a lot of people did. And they deserve the respect of having a playable fucking game. Or at least, and we're working on it. And just leave it at that. Not blaming them. Blaming them for buying the game at full price is insane levels of narcissism. I hope this gets fixed. But I wanted to give it to you straight. I wanted to talk about how Randy Pitchford might be the worst CEO in gaming. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, give this video a like, a sub, a comment, put it up in the algorithm so it actually gets seen by more people. That'd be lovely. Because I'll always tell it to you straight. If you guys like straight talk, you guys like someone who will speak truth to power, hopefully this will be your channel. We cover a full variety in here, every single game genre. I probably cover too many games, but I love doing it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And let me know in the comments, are you playing Borderlands 4? What do you guys think? Are you having performance issues? And if you are or aren't, tell me, are you PC? Are you PlayStation? Are you PlayStation 5 Pro? Are you Xbox? What are you? And if you are not having problems, and also, what do you like about the game? Because there's plenty to like about the game. This is not, you know, my previous video was very, very clear. The game is good. People are loving the narrative. People are loving the action. People are loving the gameplay. It's just the performance that's bad. And, you know, now it's the performance and Randy Pitchford that are bad. So hopefully it gets better. Catch you guys in the next video. I'll give an update as soon as I can.